Hello, YouTube. This is Rich again, back for an exclusive YouTube video blog. Tonight's YouTube video blog is about a career video of WWE Hall of Famer and former two-time WWE champion Bob Backlund, or Mr. Bob Backlund. Tell you about his career. And I'll be back with the contents of this video. Don't forget to listen to Crystal's Time Machine each and every Friday and Saturday night from 9 to 11 p.m. on WCAP 980, where everybody gets it. Can't catch the show live, listen to the podcast exclusively on archive.org. Goes back to October 2015. Follow Crystal on Twitter at Crystal Amy John. I'm Machine Crystal. Follow her on Instagram at Crystal Johnson. Follow her on Facebook, the official Crystal Time Machine Facebook page, the official Crystal Time Machine group page and game show fan page. And follow her on YouTube at Crystal Johnson. One exclusive video a week. Follow me on Twitter at Chewy7. Follow me on Instagram at Rich Sarasol. Follow me on YouTube at Rich Sarasol. 2 exclusive videos a week. And follow Dave Weatherman, Bruce's Bellick Weather page, and follow Jen Johnson on Twitter. Okay? And now on to the feature presentation. Tonight's video is about a career look at Bob Backlund. Bob Backlund was born in Princeton, Minnesota on August 14th, 1949. He grew up in Princeton, Minnesota. He graduated from Princeton, Minnesota High School in 1967. And he was an amateur wrestler. And there was a fact that Bob Backlund could not read or write during his schooling. So it might have been probably was tough for him, but he got by. Then Bob married his high school sweetheart, Corky, 1967. They've been married ever since. And Bob went to Waldorf College in Iowa, and he was an All-American in football and wrestling, and he transferred to Division II of North Dakota State when he was an All-American in wrestling. He graduated in 1972 with a degree in physical education. Then he got trained to become a professional wrestler by Ed Sharkey, no relation to former Billerica Memorial High School principal Dr. Thomas Sharkey. And then he made his wrestling debut, wrestling for many regional territories, including the little territory called Western States, headed by Dory and Terry Funk. Also, Georgia Championship Wrestling and Championship Wrestling from Florida. He won many regional titles. He also was the Missouri State Champion in the Missouri Championship around 1976. Vince McMahon Sr. was looking for his next long-term WWF babyface champion, and he saw Bob Backlund, and he says he could be the next long-reigning WWF champion. Back in the 60s and 70s, the babyface champions were ethnic population. Bruno Sammartino for the Italians, and Pedro Morales for the Spanish, Puerto Ricans, Latino population. But Vince McMahon Sr. wanted an all-American boy as his world champion because Bruno was stepping down. And there was recommendations from Vern Gagne and Eddie Graham that Bob Backlund could be that one. And he came to the WWF in 1977, just wrestled on television for about a year or so and wrestling in other territories. On February 20th, 1978, Bob Backlund superstar Billy Graham won the WWF Championship, and for the next 6 years, Bob Backlund was the WWF slash WWE champion. He faced a lot of wrestlers, including superstar Billy Graham in several rematches, those Allion, Ernie Ladd, Ken Patera, Red the Hammer Valentine, Pat Patterson, Sweet Hansen, Big Bobby Duncan Hoffa, and Sika the Wild Samoan, Larry Sabisco, Hulk Hogan, Sachi Strada, Stan the Man Hansen, um, Angelo King Kong Mosca, the Magnificent Morocco, Adrian Adonis, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Bob Orton, the Cowboy, Playboy Buddy Rose, Big John Studd, Ivan Koloff, and the Masked Superstar, among others. Bob also wrestled, put his WWF slash WWE title on a line with many regional territories as well, because back in the 70s and early 80s, Vince McMahon Sr. still had workings agreement with the NWA. He also wrestled Nick Bockwinkel, Harley Race, um, Kevin Sullivan, Billy Robinson, Rowdy Piper, and even Gorilla Monsoon in Puerto Rico. And Bob Backlund was managed by Arnold Skolin. There were two um, times that Bob Backlund actually lost the WWE title. One in November of 1979 to Antonio Inoki in Japan. He won it back 6 days later. And there was a second time in October 1981 when the title was held up because a day's referee accidentally gave Greg the Hammer Valentine the victory after Bob Backlund pinned him. But that was only the title was only held in Madison Square Garden. The rest of the WWE territory, Bob was still champion. But by 1982, Vince McMahon Sr. sold the WWE to Vince Jr. And he wanted to create his own champion by the crowds for many years were cheering Bob Backlund, and they were getting sellouts throughout the WWF territory, including Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and others. There was a belief that Vince McMahon Sr. needed to stack the cards to make Bob Backlund strong because many people thought he was boring. But Bob Backlund had a successful title reign. And Vince McMahon decided in December of 1983 that Bob Backlund's title reign had to come to an end, and it came to an end at Madison Square Garden the day after Christmas in 1983 against the Iron Sheik, when Bob Backlund's manager, Arnold Skolin, threw in the towel. And then a month later, Hulk Hogan became WWE champion by beating the Iron Sheik. But Bob Backlund brought Hulk Hogan back to the WWE in the 1st of January. And then there was rumors going around that Bob Backlund was going to turn heel, attack Arnold Skolin with the cross-face chicken wing, and be managed by Captain Lou Albano. But Bob Backlund refused to go heel. And he was kind of phased down the cards, wrestling basically lower-end talent. He briefly he teamed up with B. Brian Blair to face off against Adrian Adonis and Dick Murdoch for the WWE Tag Team Champions in Philadelphia. His last WWE match was in August of 1984 in Spectrum in Philadelphia against Salvatore Bellomo. Bob then briefly resurfaced in Pro Wrestling USA, a joint venture between AWA, Jim Crockett Promotions, and the CWA, which evolved into the USWA. But that partnership was quickly didn't go anywhere because all three of the promoters, Vern Gagne, Jim Crockett Jr., and Jerry Jarrett, were stealing each other's talent away. That's not a good way to do business. Bob actually wrestled um, with Martello for the AWA World Championship in 1985 in a scientific babyface versus babyface match. But then after that, Bob basically disappeared from pro wrestling for the next 7 years, making appearances here and there for the ICW in New England and in Japan, and the ill-fated UWF, Herb Abrams. In 1992, Bob Backlund came back to the WWE with vignettes saying his goal was once again to be the WWE champion. He came back with no music, just the same old Bob Backlund, the All-American boy. His push from when he made his TV debut in November 1992 to April 1993, he didn't lose on television. He had some big wins against the Repo Man, Papa Shango, and Damien Demento, and Skinner, among others. And he was the next to last person eliminated from the 1993 Royal Rumble by Yokozuna. He drew number 2. There were rumors he was actually going to win the Royal Rumble and face off against Bret the Hitman Hart at WrestleMania 9, but that didn't come to fruition. Bob Backlund wrestled at WrestleMania 9 against Razor Ramon, but Razor Ramon gave him a small package for the 1, 2, 3, and then after that, for the next year, Bob Backlund did a lot of jobs on television to Adam Bomb, Lex Luger, Mr. Hughes, Shawn Michaels, and Jeff Jarrett, and IRS. Basically, he eventually disappeared on television for maybe 6 months in 1994, only making an appearance at the Royal Rumble, but he got eliminated quickly by Big Daddy Cool Diesel. And in July of 1994, Bob Backlund wrestled Bret the Hitman Hart for the WWE title on Superstars. It was a scientific match from Bob Backlund. Thought he was going to win. He thought he would win when he got a small pack when he loaded up Bret the Hitman Hart for the 1, 2, but referee missed the 3 count, and then that Bret the Hitman Hart schoolboyed him 1, 2, 3. After the match, Bob and Bret the Hitman Hart shook hands. When Bret was going to shake hands the second time, Bob Backlund slapped Bret the Hitman Hart in the face and then put the crossface chicken away. Bob Backlund turned heel soon afterwards, and there were rumors going around that Bob Backlund turning heel was a curse that was going to reintroduce Papa Shango back to the WWE. Thank God that did not come to be, because that would have been so ridiculous. Bob Backlund got over as a heel on his own by putting crossface killings on everybody, including a magazine writer and his former manager, Arnold Skolin, plus lots of the WWE superstars in 1994. Then he got a world title shot against Bret the Hitman Hart in a submission match at Survivor Series 1994. And at like a house show a couple of months prior, Bob Backlund broke Bret Hitman's Hart pelvis by mistake, and that kind of really derailed what they were going to do with Bob Backlund after he was going to win the title for Bret the Hitman Hart in Survivor Series 1994. I heard something, there were plans that he was going to hold the title for 1 year to lose it back to Bret the Hitman Hart at Survivor Series 1995. And that business in WWE in 1995 was in the toilet, but Bob Backlund, a year as WWE Champion with his heel character, that could have been interesting. Bob Backlund won the WWE title at Survivor Series 1994 by by submission by putting the crossface chicken wing and Bret the Hitman Hart. And Bret the Hitman Hart didn't submit. Owen tricked his parents to throw in the towel for him. He did. And Bret and after that, then Owen just was all rules. Bob only held the WWE title for 3 days, losing it to Big Daddy Cool. Then he continued his feud with Bret the Hitman Hart, but he said on Monday Night Raw on November 28th, 1994, to Vince McMahon, he said before his career ended, he was going to procure the crossface chicken wing on Vince. Vince was not even in Angles back in 1994. That never came to be. But if somehow Bob Backlund stayed in the Attitude Era and put the crossface chicken wing on Mr. McMahon, the crowd would probably cheer him like crazy. But after that, Bob Backlund, kind of slid down the cards, um, losing to Bret the Hitman Hart at WrestleMania 11 and then I Quit match. And then Bob Backlund said he saw the light. And a few weeks later on Monday Night Raw, he was contemplating running for president of the United States. He made a lot of political comments for several WWE television programs, but that angle went absolutely nowhere. Eventually, Bob Backlund wasn't on television as much, made appearances here and there, fighting Bret the Hitman Hart again on Monday Night Raw, and appearing at the Royal Rumble 1996, being eliminated by Yokozuna. And eventually, Bob Backlund stayed on television and co-managed with the Iron Sheik, the Sultan, who was Rikishi. Part 2. But the Sultan gimmick went nowhere. Eventually, Bob Backlund left the WWE, making cameos in 2000 at the Royal Rumble, and then before WrestleMania 16 as Kurt Angle's manager. And then Bob wrestled in Japan for a while. In 2004, Bob Backlund was notified by Jim Ross that we were going to put him in the 2004 WWE Hall of Fame. Bob Backlund says he was not officially retired. He said he had one more comeback in him. He wrestled for TNA for several months in 2007, but that went nowhere. And he made an appearance back on the 15th anniversary of Monday Night Raw in 2007 in a battle royal, getting eliminated by Skinner. He was inducted in several wrestling Hall of Fames during that time period as well. And then he made a few one-off wrestling appearances here and there, and making a return for WWE Raw when he faced Heath Slater in July of 2013 and 12. He was finally inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame in 2013, and he was inducted by Maria Menounos. He appeared in a movie with Maria Menounos back in the late 2000s. And he also made a cameo at Singled Out in 1996 when Sonny appeared on it. But we don't talk about, but Sonny's a very tragic character. We won't talk about him. And Bob actually had a lot of television time for about a year in 2016, 2017, when he was the life coach of Darren Young. But eventually Darren got released by WWE, and Bob left soon afterwards. He made one final match in 2018 in Japan. And after Bob Backlund's run into WWE around 1995, 96, he was a sales bondsman and also worked for Home Heating Oil. He tried to run for representative in the state of Connecticut in 2000, but he lost the race for representative. He moved to Florida in 2003. He wrote a book in 2016, which was a good seller. I had that book. And he did some shoot interviews here and there. Earlier in August of 2024, it was revealed that Bob Backlund is suffering from dementia, and he's living with his sister. I don't know if he and his wife, divorced. They have one um, daughter named Carrie. So Bob Backlund, probably one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. He actually should have turned heel in 1984 against Hulk. When Hulk Hogan came back, they could have had a series of programs for the WWE title at Madison Square Garden, and that could have been the main event at WrestleMania 1 if they played the cards right. Hulk Hogan's first year as WWE champion there was not too many memorable title defenses. So I hope, you know, just say a prayer to Bob Backlund. Hopefully he doesn't suffer with dementia because that's a very, very cool disease to have and condition. I'll be back with another YouTube exclusive later on this week. Bye now.